So Belleview Branding, we're a promotional branding company. So when you think about it, it's any tangible branding that your logo is on. So any brand, any company uses promotional branding.
All right, welcome to Yellow Colored Glasses. This is episode 95. I'm Austin. I have a very, very special guest, Haley Flippo. I keep wanting to say Haley Knack, so I've got to be careful with that.
I still am a Knack at heart.
Yeah, like hyphen Knack.
Yeah.
But we will jump into a review, and then we will get started. Our review is from Brooke M. She says, I wish I didn't have to call them after the initial setup, but I do. Every time I call for help to report an accident, everything is handled quickly and seamlessly. So thank you, Brooke. We try to get stuff done quickly, and hopefully you don't have any more accidents, but if you do, give us a call. So just like every other podcast, we're going to start with a peek and a pit.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Do you want to jump in?
Sure.
Okay, so let's do peek first.
Okay.
Hit me.
So my peak is in personal or professional. I mean, I'm going to do personal because we just had the greatest long weekend with our kids.
Love that.
And we had no plans, uninterrupted time.
Which is fantastic.
Which never happens, especially on a holiday weekend. And it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was so great. We got to just spend 4 days because their school was closed on Friday.
Nice. With
them and just like explore with them. It was great.
Heck yeah. Well, my peak is kind of the same. Mm-hmm. We had some friends over, including your brother, Tanner. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we just moved in. It's like the second and half week that we've been in the house. And so we had everyone over, we cooked dinner, hung out, but then we went just hung out on their driveway, took chairs out and everything.
That's the best.
We've got a big cul-de-sac that goes around. And so Stella was riding her bike and we got out there and it was like everyone else in the neighborhood came out. There was like 10 kids riding bikes. We were just hanging out. People were coming over saying hi to us. It was just one of those days that afterwards, like we're getting the kids to bed and you're like, I'm just so grateful for everything. It was so nice. Neighbors were nice. It was just it was a great weekend. So we didn't have any plans either. But it was great. We had some relaxation, got some stuff done at the house. Mm-hmm. It was just good. Yeah.
I know. I want to come see your house.
You need to.
Because are you in Lee Summit?
No, we're in Casey Mo, so like Red Bridge area. Okay. But right off Holmes Road.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Because I think when we were talking, were you guys looking in Lee Summit about it?
We were looking everywhere.
Well, I'm jealous of your cul-de-sac.
Yes.
Because we live on the main street in our neighborhood. So when you come in, I mean, and I've also turned in, like we were talking about the road rage, I've turned into the old lady on my front porch. Where I'm like, why are you driving so fast? But our good friends in our neighborhood live in a cul-de-sac. And I would move just to move to a cul-de-sac.
Yeah, it's so nice. Because you really don't have any fear of something happening, because even if there's a car driving, they're going 10 miles an hour, 5 miles an hour. So that's huge. And I feel like when you're looking to buy a house, especially with kids, one like huge green flag, I think that's like one good sign is if there's a bunch of people walking. For sure. Like if there's families out walking, and every time we visited, there was someone walking. They always waved at us, and it was like, they were waving at us like we're friends. I'm like, we don't even live here yet. But like, you're so nice. Like,
but great. I want to live here.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's how our neighborhood is too. We're just on the side that I feel like once we moved in, everyone moved out. Or there's a few that stayed, or there's this one family that just moved in that has 12 kids. Oh. And so that's great for our kids, except at the same time, they're everywhere. So our kids think what they're doing is like the coolest thing on the planet. Sure. But they're the youngest of 12, so the rules are not the same.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so we're hoping we get some new families.
I can't even picture that.
And they're all like the mom and dad. I mean, they didn't adopt any. Like she had 12 children. Yeah. Wow. Isn't that amazing? I know.
I don't. Yeah.
I'm like, I want to give you a high five every time I see you, because how did you do that?
Props. Because I've got 3 kids, and I feel very overwhelmed a lot of times. So.
Yes. Oh, we got the whole week prepared yesterday, and even this morning I was still like, why is this so difficult?
Yeah, it's crazy. And Maddie and I will be on we'll have one of those good days,
Yeah.
We should have more.
I know.
And then you have a bad day, and it's like, there's no way.
Why do we have these? I know. Yes. I know.
Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, let's go to Pitt.
Okay. The pit is kind of business related. It's a positive but also a negative. I'm growing so fast. So actually this morning I've been trying to figure out how I want to grow the team and trying to hire and interview. And it's been a challenge trying to figure out who to bring on the team, how to progress it. Do I do sales? All these different things to figure out. That it's really been kind of the thing that's been the most difficult lately. I mean, it's also positive. It's just, it's the hardest part of, okay, I want to expand, I want to grow. Where do I expand? Yeah. So it's been like my challenge every day that I've been trying to figure out.
We kind of tried to view it like when we're moving, same thing. Like it's annoying and it's kind of frustrating and challenging, but if you try to flip it and be like, it's so exciting, think about take this next step and then we'll get there. But yeah, do you?
It is.
Well, I'll give you my P.
Yeah.
We'll go into it. But my pit's, I'll go personal. Is really trying to not overwhelm myself with everything I want to do, because it's like every time I turn the corner of the house, it's like I want to do something here, I want to do there. So getting a game plan, I guess, as far as what we're going to do and when we're going to do it.
Right.
Because if I could, I would just start all of these projects right now. But yeah, honestly, I'm really bad at pits because I do feel very, very blessed, and I don't think there's a lot of bad things that are going on, and it's more of a good thing that's challenging, kind of like you. So
I thought you were going to say newborn sleep.
Honestly, he doesn't do too bad. The only thing is that he wants his mom a lot. Yeah. And he's always hungry. Yeah. So Maddie hates when I say this, but I don't feel like I connect well with babies. Like for the longest time, I didn't think Hattie and I were going to get along, and now we're so close. And so I feel like I have to get to a certain point to where like they understand my humor and we can joke and play. But now it's just holding him and I can't give him what he wants. So that's honestly, he sleeps pretty well.
Good.
We wrap him up in one of those little.
Oh, those are a dream.
Yeah.
The little swaddle.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he just, he'll wake up a couple times to eat, but other than that, honestly, our biggest issue kid-wise is still Manhattan.
Really?
100%. She is starting to get independent, which is great. Yeah. But she has so much sass. I mean, I can tell. This the other day.
She's so cute.
She's so adorable, and she's so sweet. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, she's like Sour Patch Kids. Yes. Goes back and forth. And I was like, Manhattan, do whatever it is I need you to do. I'm going to count to 3 or you're going to get in trouble. So I started counting. She went,
that's Lena.
Oh my gosh. And the worst part is half the time when she does those, like, she's challenging me, it is so cute. Yeah. And so then I have to not smile because I'm like, I'm serious right now. I'm trying not to laugh. So, but yeah, we kind of joke that Ledger's our favorite kid just because he can't talk back right now.
Yeah, he's just so sweet and cuddly. He just wants to sleep.
Exactly. Yeah. But no, I mean, honestly, Ledger's been great. Yeah. Kids are good. So
good. Yeah, that's how Lena was. She was such a good sleeper. They both were good sleepers, but she was a really good sleeper. Her sass she's the one. Like Lincoln, if we start counting, he immediately stops. If we start counting with her, she'll laugh, or she'll say she wants to go to timeout. She'll laugh at us when we put her in timeout. I'm like, what's your problem?
Yeah, she wants whatever punishment.
Work.
Yeah, she's like, I do want it. It's like, that's not what you're supposed to say.
No, and then she laughs and she runs out of it. Lincoln he does not want to be in trouble. He does not want to sit in timeout. She does not care. Yeah. There's no discipline with her. It is, because it's like, how do you challenge? And he's looking at me like, Mom, what are you going to do? Because this is, you tell me to go to timeout. I'm like, Lincoln, I know. Yeah. I get it, buddy.
And then, especially with Stella, I do feel like it's unfair sometimes because Manhattan will throw a fit or make a huge deal out of something. It's like, Stella, just give her that, whatever it is, you know? And I feel like that's always Stella's role is to give up. But it's like, because you are emotionally intelligent enough to handle whatever it is that we're dealing with. But anyway, enough about kids. Yes. Let's get into why we're here. So, Belleview Branding, you are the owner. Give me kind of a quick overview. What is Belleview Branding? What is branding in general?
Yeah. So Bellevue Branding, we're a promotional branding company. So when you think about it, it's any tangible branding that your logo is on. So any brand, any company uses promotional branding.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to use the word branding instead of swag or promotional products.
Yeah.
Because to me, your branding should be elevated, and promotional products, we kind of get a really bad rap for the industry. And it's only because of the products that have been provided or shown or the process. And that's why I decided to go into business for myself, was because I actually started on the supplier side of the industry.
Okay.
And I learned all about the products and the availability that we had with all of these different vendors. And so I switched teams and went to the distributor side.
Nice.
And it was so transactional. It was like, do not get in the weeds about their business. Just take the order, figure out what they want to put their logo on, whether it be pins, apparel, cups, and then get it out the door and start on the next. And that's not how I operate. I want to know, who are you?
Relationship more.
Yeah. Who are you giving these products to? What is the point of your advertising? What's your goal? What are you looking for? What's the ROI? I want to learn that so I can best present the right products to you. And I just wasn't finding that. So I decided one day, I'd always wanted to start my own business. And I just said, I love creativity. I love brands and products. So I'm just going to start my own. And it has been wonderful because I get to learn about people's brand, and I get to actually say, okay, you're doing a golf tournament and you want to have all new apparel for your team. And what do you like? What brands do you want to wear? What do you want to show your brand on? And it's been so rewarding because then they get that and they love it. They love putting their brand on something, or they love showing their water bottle and it saying their company on it, and they don't have to say, well, it doesn't really keep cold, or like just, the things that people didn't like. And when it's your brand, it's so important to put it on something because it's your name. And I understand that because Bellevue Branding is my own, so I can bring that piece to it.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes me months to figure out what I even want to put my own brand on, and then I landed on a chapstick that was like Burt's Bees, because I just vetted all these different products, and I wanted it to be something that people would use, and I do have, actually, people will come to me, and my father-in-law will give it to someone, and they'll come to me and say, hey, I got this from your father-in-law.
Yeah.
Can you do this for my company? And then we do, a big project or whatever it is. And so it's so fun. It's constant advertising, and I love it.
Yeah, I do think that brand is obviously the big foundation, and then your products are more tools than anything, right?
They are.
But I understand that piece of it, because you could have just a generic, like, hey, you have piece 1, 2, and you have whatever, but that's not really them, right? And so getting to know what it is, how they're going to use it, what's the goal, that then makes them excited. And I'm the same way. I don't like just kind of a transactional, like sell done, on to the next. That to me is not rewarding at all. And so I understand what you're saying from that. And then getting products that are going to mean something to them, gets them excited, gets you excited. Yeah, and it's all good.
Well, and sometimes in business, everyone feels this, or at least I know I do, but you kind of go in the ups and the downs. And so when you're in the downs and you're not really wanting to call or meet with people or go out in there, but then you have branding that you can go out, like you said, a tool, and you can show it, or you can it gets you excited to put on the shirt, to grab the piece, to have the conversation, because it really is a conversation starter. I mean, it is walking advertising constantly. And also with this day and age with social media, every time you get on social media, someone's showing a brand. And even if it's not branded with the influencer's logo, it's a brand that somebody knows. And so if you really think about it, I mean, everyone is branding. It's just trying to find who to go to be that branding partner. Because you have to also, these people are either ordering it from somewhere, or they're online, or they're going through a distributor. And it's more beneficial to go through a distributor because we're doing the same process, but you have a person. You have someone like me who you can call and say, I have this and this, and I'm looking at, whatever the products might be, or I just have this event coming up, or I want to give my employees a nice gift. I want to say thank you. And I'm the one that then can go do the work and find the products.
Well, I'd say I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but we have worked together in the past, and I think one of the biggest things, like you said, is having a person to go to. Because
Yeah.
for me, a lot of times, especially if there's a new area that I'm getting into, if it gets overwhelming, then it's like, okay, I'll come back to that. And then I
Right.
pause it, and of course, it doesn't happen as quickly. So just having a go-to person where you can pick their brain, or like, I want to go this, like, have you had success with water bottles or chapstick or whatever that is, I think is huge for a confidence booster, or just to make sure that you're going in the right direction.
Yeah.
Either way. But
well, and also, in my experience, it's also helped your business move forward, not just in the advertising piece, but it creates ideas of maybe how to be creative with selling your business. And I mean, I've had conversations about beach towels, which, because my dad is my beach towel supplier, and they're phenomenal. And so I talked to him, and I talked to the team about, what success stories have you heard? Where have you seen your certain products be used? Because beach towels are normally thought in a pool, beach, of course, summer setting. And they told me about a story recently that they did for a bank, where if you went and you opened up a new bank account, you got a beach towel. And people went crazy over these beach towels because people just want something. They like something. And when it's good quality, they're like, I'll open up a bank account. And this bank opened up thousands of accounts just because they had to reorder beach towels. And so it's the same thing if you think about a car dealership. If you come in and you buy a car, you do whatever, you get a beach towel. People will come in just because of a promotion you're running instead of just drive by your dealership.
Yeah, and it may not be, most of the time someone's not going to go out and buy a car because they can get a towel,
well,
right?
But it entices them
but
to...
yes, or if they're in the market already,
right.
It's like, well, I could either not get something or I could get something, so why not?
Well, exactly. If you're shopping banks and because it adds a personal touch. It's like, we care about our clients, we care about you, and we want to give you a thank you for opening up an account with us. So it's things like that I try to collaborate with my clients of, who are you trying to market to? Who are your clients? How can we have a conversation with just you putting branding in front of them?
Yeah. Well, and I think especially for like me in our industry, we don't talk to our clients every single day, right? And so it's easy for them to forget the name or forget, whatever. And so having those little things in conversations with friends, they're talking about their insurance, like, I can't remember Blinken, and then you grab the water bottle or whatever it is that we gave them, right? And so I do think that piece, especially for industries that are not necessarily hands-on with their clients all the time, is beneficial for multiple reasons, but just to keep that top of mind for them. But well, you kind of segued into the next question. Tell me a little bit about how your family, your dad specifically, kind of played a part into getting into this. I know you mentioned your background getting into on the distribution side, but tell me a little bit about Sean, how he impacted you.
Yes. So my parents, both my mom and dad, well, my dad has been in the industry for as long as I can remember. My mom is also in the industry, and my in-laws are in the industry as well.
Oh, I think I knew that.
Both on the supplier side. So I grew up at trade shows talking about promotional products. It's funny because as a little girl going to school, I wanted the princess backpack and all the cute backpacks. My dad's like, here's an OGO, and it's black and yellow. I'm like, no, Dad, I want like the princess backpack. But he had all these samples all the time, so I was always around product. And my dad, as you know, is very creative, and he's funny, and he has all these ideas, and he loves products just like I do. And so it was always just instilled in me the product world. And then when he started with towels and blankets, I was so young when that happened, and we just always had them around, so it was always a fun thing that I was a part of. Well, then when I went to college and I went to school for fashion design, when I was graduating, I don't even know if we talked about it, I'm sure, that I wanted to go to New York, I wanted to go to LA, I wanted to do something in entertainment or with costume design. And I was applying, I didn't hear a single thing back. And so
tough industry.
It's tough, and no one would even call me back. So my dad actually said, why don't you try the industry? Just on the apparel side, to learn wholesale apparel, learn about brands, how everything's manufactured, to maybe get something on your resume, and then maybe you'll have a better response on your applications. So I did. I got a job with one of our wholesale vendors on the apparel side. I loved it. and I think you knew that. I immediately loved it. But we were selling blank apparel. So at some point, and I was also traveling for work a lot. I had to move to Oklahoma City. I just didn't really love the travel all the time. So I got out and tried a few other things like interior design, and I just kept coming back to the creativity of products. Yeah. And so that's when I came back in. But I used their experience to say, this is what I want. I want to be able to use products and branding and my creativity. Should I do the distributor side? Should I go back to the vendor side? Because you also can have that on the vendor side of it too. And just being able to have those connections with my dad, and then with my in-laws as well, because at this point we were married. Yeah. They gave such great advice on where I should go and maybe what I should look into. And even still to this day, I mean, I talk to my dad every day about, hey, I'm having this project. What should I do? And it's so nice to be able to have that communication about it. Yeah. And at trade shows, when we go to our Vegas trade show every year in January, they're all there. So it's so fun. It's like our whole family takes a trip to Vegas.
I think with anyone starting out in any kind of industry, you have to test the waters and figure out what you like and you don't like. But having that kind of a foundational piece or someone you can lean on is huge. Whether or not you ended up going in the same industry or not, right? Just to pick their brains, but
it is, because when I started, I didn't even have my resale license yet. Yeah. And my dad, he was, because I was really nervous about getting everything set up exactly how it needed to be set up. Yeah. And it was nice to have someone who was in the industry to be able to tell me, stop worrying about it. It'll all fall into place. You don't need your website perfectly done right now. You can take a minute. You can try to get clients without having an account set up with your vendors. But if I didn't have that, I probably wouldn't have started like that, because I started right off the bat. Yeah.
Well, and it's easy to overwhelm yourself or spend $10,000 that you don't have yet on t-shirts or a website or whatever, and it's like, maybe you should get revenue in beforehand. Yeah. But yeah. So I remember in high school, the Steelers do the terrible towels, right? That's a big thing. Yeah. And I still have my orange terrible towel for Oak Grove. And that was like when I first knew of what Sean was doing. But I still have it. So I mean, it works. Forever. Yeah, you do. And that's one of those things you don't. There's no reason to throw away, whether it's a work towel or use it for anything else. But
you just keep them. I have towels still with holes in them. It's like, all right, I probably should throw them away. But at the same time, I could probably use it, so then I just fold it and put it back in the towel closet, because you never get rid of towels.
Well, and there's a lot, I mean, especially with kids, a lot of messes that you need a towel with holes in them, or a nasty one that you're never gonna use or let anyone else see. But it's good for the nasty little messes that they create. Yeah. So I know that I've got a pretty good idea of what you can do for a business or an organization, but tell me, what can someone expect if they start to work with you?
Yeah. So when I start working with a new client, I really dive in with those questions on, what is your business? Tell me about your employees. What's the culture like? What's your clientele? Do you do events throughout the year? I try to get a really good grasp on their day-to-day of business, so I can understand, where are you using your branding? Where are there holes that maybe we could be elevating by putting branding there? So it's really that brand strategy that I start with, trying to really understand all of it. And also on the event side, it helps with not having to do things so last minute. When an event comes up maybe next week, I knew about it a couple months ago, so we were already planning for it. So I start there, and then we really attack like the most pressing things that they're looking into. And then if they don't have something that they're looking into, I just start putting together ideas based on those conversations of, okay, here's maybe a lookbook of some new products that I think you might like. And I really try to bring ideas to the table. And then when an idea hits, or they say, yes, we want to move forward with, say it's the polos for the golf tournament they're doing this summer, then I take on all of it. I get their logos, I take all the information that they need, and I start working with my vendors to get the order going, get the virtual process going, because that's the thing too, is sometimes you'll place an order, you don't get a virtual, and you get delivered the product. I will never do that. Because you need to be able to see a virtual of your logo on your product if you want a sample of it first before you put everything
just to make sure you like it.
Just to make sure you like it, especially with apparel. If someone's ordering apparel with me, unless we're on a super quick time crunch that we don't have time for a sample, I will always send you a sample.
Yeah.
Because apparel is so personal. And you may like a shirt that I do not, or especially for women, if you're doing like a polo for women, you need to try a sample on. Because a polo that would fit me is not going to fit the person next. Everyone's so different, their preference. So we go through that process, and I just make sure I have it taken care of. I'll tell you what I need from you, and then once you approve it, we go straight to production, and I have everything delivered directly to you. So it is a very hands-off experience for you, because I'm the one working with my vendors to do the whole process.
Well, I feel like that's a huge kind of key to work with someone who knows what they're doing, because for the most part, people don't know what they don't know, right?
Right.
And there's a lot of things like that they may see for the first time that you bring up to them. They're like, I would have never thought about that.
Yeah.
What you were telling me about, for golf tournaments, was it a pencil?
Yes, the Jot pencil.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I had never heard of it, so I'll let you kind of explain.
Yeah.
But that was one thing that just made so much sense for me. I love to golf all the time, and I didn't know it was a thing to begin with, but something that would be something you can use whether you're golfing or not, I guess. But it's so easy. But I would never would have thought about it. So tell me a little bit, what is that? And then we'll go from there.
Yeah, so it's called a Jot pencil, and it looks like a keychain, and it does actually have also a keychain on it that you can put on your golf bag, and then you like push a button and it flips up, and it's just an infinity pencil that never dulls. So you can use it. Golf is the main area that it's used in, just because it's small too, so you can use it on your scorecards. Yeah. But I've had actually other people use it in every industry, because it's just this infinity pencil.
Well, I'm thinking even carpentry or anything.
Anything, and it's so small. I mean, it's probably this big, and it'll fit in your pocket. And it's just like little things like that are a needle in a haystack. And so I've found my preferred suppliers that I will use first, because they have little things like that are so unique. But it's like when you watch Shark Tank and you're like, why didn't I not think of that? They're making millions of dollars. Why did I not think about the Scrub Daddy or whatever it is? And it's genius. Know. That's what the promotional industry is. Yeah. And when you find those little nuggets of it, it's like, I'll tell everyone. So I think when I told you about it, I blasted it to all my clients. Like, do you have something coming up where you need this pencil? Or kids?
Yeah.
It doesn't like smudge. I mean, it is just, it almost looks like a rubber top, and it's a pencil.
Yeah. Well, and so I know that we worked together a little bit in the past. And the other thing is, I feel like if there's something that maybe you don't specialize in or you don't do, you also have good contacts to connect them with, which I think is huge. Because you need to, if you try to do everything, then you're going to give 20% in all areas. Yeah. But that was one beneficial thing, I think, too. Just even working with color and design is a huge part of it, right? Because there's a whole marketing, research about colors even, which is nuts, and that's again, that's not my area, that's not something I would think about, but what's going to appeal to them and why, what you're trying to get, what kind of reaction you're trying to get, all of that is kind of huge. So
that's a good point, because there are Pantone colors that your logo has, and if you created your logo years ago and you're new, or even if you're not new, you might not have the branding guide to know what that specific PMS color is. But if you just say green, it might not be your logo's green. And so that's where I'll come in and be like, I need this, and then if you can get it, if you can't, we'll try to figure it out. Yeah. But also, I know when we worked together, you guys were looking to do a whole new logo. I can do logo design, but it's not my specialty. My specialty is putting your logo on products and working with rebrands. If you're doing that, then I can point us in a direction of the product side of what's going to look good. But if you're needing something that I don't have, I will refer you to my partners. Yeah. So if I do have a graphic artist that I will send clients to and say, Austin's looking to do a rebrand, their new logo. Can you take care of it? And then I'll be in on it, so that way when it's done, then I can take what you guys worked on and put it on the products.
Yeah. Well, and there's it's also that trusted piece, right? Like, I trust you, and I trust that you are not gonna send me to someone that you wouldn't trust,
Right.
you wouldn't work personally with. So
Yeah.
that was, again, it goes back to the comfort and knowing that things are going to be handled and having someone that's going to help kind of handle them. But is there a certain type of business or organization that you like to work with ideally, or that you seem to kind of drift to?
Not usually. Mainly events is what I gravitate towards. Events, like a company who's doing a lot of conferences, trade shows, or they're putting their branding out there at like whether they're going to a sporting event and they may be a sponsor or things like that, because it creates a lot more creativity. It gives us more billboard space, if you will, on their products, and so we can use different pieces, and it gives us a chance to figure out what's working, what maybe wasn't the best response, or maybe it was a great response, but you have now enough for the next event. And it's companies who are kind of fast moving a lot on their branding, just because we get to experiment with a lot of different products.
Yeah.
But industry wise, there really isn't a specific industry, because I do anything. I mean, right now working on school projects to projects of people who are in front of sporting events, or if it's just like a church, or people who are doing a lot of things like that we're doing a lot of different products for. But then I have my clients also who we're doing day-to-day things, like they're in office wear, or working on a project where if employees are become new moms, or if a dad works there and he's becoming a new parent, they'll give them this like new parent box. And so
Nice. I like
there are
that.
things that, so it's really kind of any industry.
Yeah. Well, and so we kind of hit on this too, but we have worked together. But you also touched a little bit, but where do you feel like your business or partnering with you helps elevate their business, other than just the like the small events like a golf tournament or whatever?
Right.
Yeah. Is there a certain key area that you think that you can help?
Well, other than just on the product side, I'm going to just pat myself a little bit. My customer service allows you to focus on your business. So and like you said earlier, is you're doing your own job. You have your own day job. And so when I'm coming to you with a presentation, and it may have a lot of products on it because of everything we talked about, you don't have time to take time out of your day job to go through the presentation. So you put it off. So because of that, I take everything into consideration. So I make it as easy as possible for you, because then you can go out and you can focus on the initiative that you're pushing. You can focus on sales, because you know that Belleview Branding has it taken care of for you. So I would say, aside from the products, it's really the freedom that we free up for you, because you're going to do branding at any point in your business. But the less that you have to focus on it and know that we've got it taken care of, because I even have clients who will tell me, just make the decision. And I still send it, because I still want you to do it. But that trust is so important, because then they can focus on their job, and you don't have to worry about all the other stuff. And so I would say that that's like one of the main pieces. The other piece too is brainstorming with them on not just products. It's really just your advertising in general. So you have a big event coming up, or not even just an event, but you have a sales initiative that you're trying to push. I like to brainstorm on that, because I know your business, I know your clientele, I know your employees from our conversations. So I'm collaborative with you on things that I've seen work that come from the product piece of it, the product response, but I collaborate with how to maybe shift or how to make something a little bit more successful just from any experience that I have.
Yeah, well, I think it goes back to you don't know what you don't know, right?
You don't know, right.
And that part for me would be, I think, the most fun, to brainstorm, because I do enjoy that. Well, I've got this idea, and you've got that idea. Oh my gosh, we could combine. That part. I feel like, and that's also what I feel like gets both parties excited,
it
right?
Does.
If they bring an idea, or they like, I have no idea what I'm asking for, but here's what I'm thinking, and then you get to use your professional background. I love that.
It's not, a lot of clients don't know what they want. They just say, we have this going on. what can we do? And then being able to brainstorm together.
Yeah. And a lot of times, you probably can't just straight ask them, what's your goal? It's like,
right, they have no idea.
I'm not really sure.
I don't know.
Yeah. But then just by talking. So I think that is
Right.
huge, because you said earlier that the transaction part of it just did not work for you.
No.
But I also feel like that's not going to work for the client either.
It doesn't.
Because again, they don't know what they don't know. And so
Right.
they need some guidance or at least some ideas to kind of get them started thinking in the right direction.
Yes.
And then they go from there.
Yeah.
So it kind of leads me to our next question. Do you feel like most of your clientele are reoccurring? Like they're consistently needing your help, or is it more short-term, one-time?
It's reoccurring,
Okay.
I would say, yeah. And even if it is one time, I will at least then do another one with them months later. So it does always come back. And I will say the reason being is because a lot of my clients, actually my clients are my biggest advertising for me, because I have so many referrals from my clients that is really where my main business comes from, is referrals from them. And so when they come in, then they become reoccurring, because then we start working together on everything that they've needed. Yeah.
Well, you said you're gonna pat yourself on the back, and I will ditto that, because one, having clients that say, please just handle it, they trust you enough. That is a huge,
thank you.
Yes, that's awesome. But the fact that your own marketing is done by your own clients is another thing. That having clients that are proud enough, or trust you enough, or have been so happy with your services that they want to mention you is great. I mean, now one thing that makes people feel great is when, like, oh, I've got a guy, I've got someone, I've got a girl, you got to call her.
Right.
So it makes them feel good anyway. So putting yourself in a position to be referable, one, makes you feel good, makes the client feel good, but it's also free advertising, free. It's helping you kind of build the business without you having to do anything other than just your own normal day to day.
Yeah, well, and you know me, I like to make people my friends. So I'm like, okay, we work together once, we're friends now. Like, I'll deliver your order. I will call you and ask you about your kids, because I'll talk about my kids. Like, I will immediately want to be your friend, and genuinely. Like, if we're working together, I want to know about your life.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of, it's funny, because Sean, every time we leave somewhere, he's like, I know they're your new best friend. Because I'm like, I love them. I want to hang out with them. We need to move into their neighborhood. Like, I'm obsessed with them. And he's like, okay, that's everyone. I'm like, but I genuinely like them.
No, but this time really.
This time for real, I promise. Like, we're really going to move next door to them. He's like, okay, we're not leaving. So, I mean, it's just, I love people.
Yeah.
And so I just immediately make them feel safe, because I genuinely want to talk to them.
Well, and it's easy to be real when that is just how you feel. It's not you're not faking it.
No.
And that relationship piece is huge, whether in any industry. But I feel like when you're putting your trust into how the public is going to view you, especially your business, right? Because that is, other than your kids, that is your baby.
It's so personal.
Yeah. Now, earlier you said you were talking about kind of growth and what the next steps are. So where do you see Belleview Branding going? Where do you want them to go? And short term, long term. What does the next couple years look like for you guys?
Yeah. So we've been in business now for 3 years this fall, and I've been very head down building the business and just going for my clients. And so I am in that expansion mode. I do envision having an inside person as like my right hand that I'm currently, that's what I've been looking for and been kind of going through the interview process. But I do envision having a sales team. I'm not really sure on what that looks like, because the goal, if I had a sales team, then I would also need like another operations person to come on board, because I love the sales piece. I'm like a salesman at heart.
Yeah. So
from the operations standpoint, I would look to, grow there too. So I do see growth, just trying to figure out what that growth looks like.
Yeah.
Because now I'm at the point where my clients, I want to have a big enough team to where we can bring in everyone that we might be missing. And so the goal is to build a sales team, but I also want to keep it very family-like and intimate of people who I know are a powerhouse, who can go out and who can make the same effect that I feel like I give my clients, and it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to interview someone and be like, what's your personality? You know, I mean, it's so hard but sales, it's so important. And like you said, it is my baby. So I'm very particular on, I want you to genuinely be passionate about this. And so we're going to grow and we're going to scale, and it's really exciting.
Yes.
It's just trying to figure out kind of how big are we going to get?
Well,
how big do we need to get too? You know, how big do we need to get to keep it personal?
Right. You want to keep that personal relationship touch too, but you also want to make sure that you're not limiting yourself.
Right.
Which is a tough balance.
Yeah.
It's also tough to kind of slow down or not have control over everything, right? Because if you are the one that's presenting or talking to these clients, and you have control of how everything is handled, and you have to relieve a little bit of that. But so next step, you think, is a sales or operations?
Operations is really where I'm focused on. The most, just because I want to see how much that frees me up, and then to not just keep it just me, but then to be able to figure out, okay, if I bring on one more salesperson, are we going to need more operations, or can we just grow then sales wise?
Yeah.
So the operations piece is crucial.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, I know that we will put your links and your socials in the bio, but what's the best way to get a hold of you if someone does want to start working with you?
The best way, I mean, other than like email and my cell phone, is probably on our website, because you can get directly to me from there. All of my information is there. And we are on social media. I'm always on LinkedIn and Instagram. So anytime you're reaching out, I am checking it. I have notifications on everything.
Oh, yeah.
So, I would say probably our website first.
And I feel like if someone is kind of curious or just wants to get a better idea, your website does a great job of kind of giving a step-by-step or what they can expect visually. So go check them out. Like I said, all the links will be down below. But Haley, anything else that you want to talk about?
No, I think that's it.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'm so glad you got on. I was pumped to find a time that worked for us.
Yeah, me too.
Bellevue does an amazing job. Like I said, it's stuff that you do not think of that your business needs. But if you're curious or have questions, give Haley a call. Check her out on social media. But this was episode 95 of Yellow Colored Glasses. So thank you, Haley.
Yeah, thank you.